What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl YanaSaamayria, aka Ms.Real Spill, aka that girl baby, aka the done daughter. Alright, and we are back again with another video. So I know y'all been seeing the last couple videos. I've been having these t-shirts on, right? These special t-shirts. These are the t-shirts that I'm about to drop and introduce to the whole world, but you guys get a first look at it. This says, y'all already see, blessed up. Then it says blessed up with the good stuff. Okay, God told me that one day. He was like, Ayana, you blessed up with the good stuff. And I said, oh, that's going on a t-shirt, baby. It has to. That's mandatory. So this will be dropping soon. It's part of Real Spill. It's Real Spill apparel. And we're starting with 4 t-shirts. The last 2 I did in my last 2 videos. One I did in another video, and the other one I did in the video before that. So if you're looking for the shirts, make sure you check out the videos previous to this one. This is our 3rd one, and we have one more that I'm going to show off, child, in probably a future video. But it has not dropped yet. It's getting ready to drop. This is just a pre. You're getting ready to see it. You get the chance to see it first and tell me your opinion. So drop in the comments. Do you feel like you blessed up with the good stuff? Do you like it or no? Okay, because it's lit. Look at the hands. Period. Yeah. Period. Let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so the topic for today is forgiveness. That's the topic we're going to tackle today, is forgiveness. Forgiveness is key, right? We've been hearing that our whole life. You have to learn to forgive. You have to learn to be, forgiveness is not for the other person, it's for yourself, and yada, yada, yada. But in order to truly forgive, I feel like you have to know what you're forgiving yourself from. What are you releasing? What are you giving to God? And until you sit down with yourself and really reflect, I don't think you're going to really know the answer. You may know the surface level answer. For example, y'all know this Real Spill, so I give y'all my business all the time. So for example, I had a lot of healing to do. I felt like I was going through the same cycle, the same trauma cycle with the same person, just in a different form every single time. And I did not understand why. I was like, why are all my friendships ending the same? Why are all of my relationships ending the same? Why does it always have to literally break apart in the way that it does? And I did not understand it until I sat down and God basically brought somebody into my life to help me realize, because you know, God sometimes brings people in your life to assess you in your journey. That's why isolation is tricky. We talked about that in the last episode. But he brought someone into my life to make me realize you need to truly sit down with yourself and reflect on why you keep hitting the same wall. If you keep hitting the same wall over and over and over and it's not changing, first of all, that's insanity, because the definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over. Second of all, you're not paying attention. You're not active in your journey enough to pay attention to the lesson that God is trying to show you. So instead of some lessons you have to learn, you know, some lessons that it's non-negotiable. So God will give you the same person in a different form each time until you pay attention, like, what am I doing? So for me, I was like, why am I always attracting unemotionally available people? Whether it was partners as far as romantic, or whether it was friendships. Why am I attracting one-sided relationships? Well, I had to go back, and if you watched the last episode, I talked to you guys about how I figured out that I was a people's pleaser, and I figured out that, you know, I didn't have that many boundaries. So I was walking around boundaryless, trying to please everybody and wondering why I was so upset. So I had to ask myself, Ayana, why are you trying to please everybody? Where did that people's pleasing even come from? And as I sat, and some people might be like, well, how do I know? Like, I won't know. When you sit with yourself and you're quiet and there's no distractions, I promise you, all those, and you're sober, be sober-minded, be alert. That's the key, be sober, okay? And you're sitting down and you're really focused, you're being intentional. All of those emotions that's been begging to come up comes up, because it's not like your emotions are trying to hide from you. In essence, they want to come up, they want to come out. They're tired of being captive. But us, because we stay busy, we stay inebriated, we stay intoxicated, we don't get a chance to allow those emotions to come up. And that was one of my problems. I kept running from my issue and dealing with my issue on a surface level instead of sitting with myself and really dealing with it, right? So when I sat with myself and I began to really deal all of these emotions came up out of nowhere, like emotions that I didn't even think I had, things I thought I forgot about, things that I felt like, oh, that doesn't really affect me. Because what did I tell you last episode? I'm the type of person, with my family, we are the type of family that sweeps things under the rug. It's like, oh, don't worry about it, don't talk about it, it'll get better with time. Everything does not get better with just time. Yes, time does heal, but time and work heals, not just time. So with that being said, I had to really like sit and think, and I was like, listen, Ayana, these people pleasing skills came from your, the anxiety attachment styles all came from the lack of your father, and then it also came from you witnessing other romantic relationships. I didn't have an example. Honestly, I didn't have an example of how a guy is supposed to treat a woman. I kind of created my own as I went along the road, and I didn't ask God. So I really created this toxic version of what I felt like love was, because I had to create it out of something that I had never seen. So based off of what I seen though, it helped me shape and form these toxic cycles of how to love and how to receive love. So to me, I had to really remember my dad's death. I didn't even realize how angry I was at him for putting himself in a position to leave me so soon. The relationships after my dad that I was able to witness through other people, I was upset at those environments because that felt like they were so toxic, and I was like, I'm gonna try my hardest to be the best version or a different version of this. And sometimes you can try so hard to run from what you don't want to be that you become the very thing that you're trying to run from. Or for example, you could be running for me, I was running from somebody that was controlling, someone who made you feel disposable. I was running from that so hard that I ran straight into unemotionally available men. I ran straight into unemotionally available friends, and I didn't understand why. And my people's pleasing, me not wanting people to leave because I didn't want to feel abandoned, kept me in my lack of boundaries, kept me in this cycle of, oh, don't leave me, I'm going to prove myself to you so you don't have to walk away from me, because if I give you all that I have, right, no boundaries, you can have everything I got. If I give you everything I got, it shouldn't probe you to want to leave me. You shouldn't have in your mind to leave me because I gave you everything I had. But then I was disappointed when people still left, and that produced more and more and more and more resentment. And so now I'm walking around angry, and I'm trying to understand what's going on. It's because I haven't forgiven. I can't address the people's pleasing and the boundaries until I address what is attached to the people pleasing and the lack of boundaries. What created that issue? And that's a part of your healing, sitting down and understanding what created this issue. How is it that I'm in the situation that I am in now? So once I did all that and I finally got to the root of the issue, I began to realize a lot of things. I began to realize a lot of things. God began to show me a lot of things. And I feel like when you do your part, God does his part, right? So as I'm sitting there and I'm reflecting and I'm allowing these emotions to come out, at the same time, he's putting things into my spirit to help me understand and help me actually forgive these people. And some of the things I began to realize is, y'all, these people that are hurting you are projecting their anger and their fears and their insecurities onto you. Sometimes it's not even about you. What I had to realize is some people, they're dealing with their own unforgiveness, and unforgiveness will literally lock your soul. It will lock your soul, and it stop you from reaching your full capacity. Why? Because you're in this space where I don't want to forgive them. I'm hardening my heart because of what they did to me. And you're not looking at the lesson in which you learned. You're looking at the things in which you lost. So because you're looking at what you lost, it's hard for you to see, I learned X, Y, and Z. I learned to not people please. I learned to have boundaries. I learned to exercise my no. I learned these things. But instead we're looking at, oh, they walked away from me. Oh, woe me. But what we don't understand is hurt people. We say that all the time, but we really don't understand that. Oh, seriously, y'all. Hurt people. And sometimes when their soul is locked, they're unable to even forgive themselves. So how can they forgive you? They're numb to their own pain. So how can they be sensitive to yours? How can they see you when they don't even see themselves? So God's like, their anger and how they treated you is a reflection of them sometimes. And sometimes it's a reflection of me. Not me, but God. God's like, sometimes it's a reflection of me, because I lock your potential. I cover you, so where people can't see who you truly are, because I knew if this person seeing who you truly were, they would have latched onto you, and in the end that would have been to your demise, not to your advantage. So I knew this type of person. I knew their spirit more than you did. I knew what they were showing you, but I knew who they truly were. I mean, you knew what they were showing you, but I knew who they truly were. So I covered you when you met them, so that they didn't see your potential. They didn't see how great you were. They didn't see how much of a gem you really were. And so we're upset because we're like, they didn't notice me. They didn't see me. God's like, I didn't intend for them to. That one right there, I didn't want them to see you. I didn't want that person attached to you. So I covered you. So what I learned was God's no is protection. God, yes, is abundance. So we have to praise God in the yes just as hard as we praise God in the no. You know, both of them has to get praised, because God is telling you, when he's protecting you, when he's covering you from certain people and they don't see your worth and they don't see your value and they walk away from you, he's not doing that so that you can harden your heart and not forgive those people, so you can take it personally. He told me, he said, Ayana, you're taking things way too personally. It ain't even that deep, Ma. It ain't even that deep. You're looking at it like, oh, they hate me. No, they don't. If I would have showed you, if I would have really revealed to them who you really are and allowed your light to really shine, they would have adored you. But in that adoring, it would have caused your destruction. So I couldn't allow that. And then in some cases, they're hurt themselves, so they're hurting other people because they don't even know how to begin to fix themselves. So they can't even begin to look at the situation that they're causing chaos in to fix that. You know? And forgiveness is so pivotal, y'all. It's so key. It's so important, because at the end of the day, I have to free me. I have to free up space to allow more things to come into my life. And the enemy will have you thinking sitting in hardness and sitting in unforgiveness is going to protect you. Now I'm protected. Nobody can bother me. Nobody can penetrate me. No, you built the wall. God didn't want you to build a wall. He wanted you to build a fence. A fence is able to be open. A wall, people have to climb over or destroy. God didn't intend for you to do that based off of hardening your heart, based off of things that people have done to you. Understand that everybody that is acting in a certain way, everybody ain't your tribe. Everybody's not supposed to be with you. You have to learn how to let some people go, and let them go with grace. Not with anger, not with bitterness, not with resentment. You're wondering why you're walking around here so angry. It's because every time you see this person, you get frustrated. Or every time you see somebody that reminds you of this person, you get frustrated. Let me tell y'all what God will do. The more you run, the more God will run after you. And you do not want God to have to come get you. Okay? I was in a situation where every time I looked at certain people, I could look at anybody and I would see a certain person. They would say something, I'd be like, ooh. Or they'll do something, I'm like, oh my gosh, is that so-and-so? Is that so-and-so? I see so-and-so everywhere. It's because God was showing me, baby, hey, you need to heal from that. This person is taking up too much space and too much control in your life. You're giving them too much room to run rampant. You got to get a hold of that. And so I had to sit in it and realize how that made me feel, and give them grace too, to understand that maybe no one taught you. And that's how you can learn to forgive somebody. Give them grace. I know that sounds crazy, but tell yourself, maybe they didn't know. Because there's a point where you didn't know. You were ignorant to the subject, or ignorant to how to forgive, or what forgiveness was, or what healing was. Maybe they never found out. Maybe they came from a family that generations, and they produce generational curses that keeps this person locked. You know? So maybe they don't even have the tools and the resources that you have in order for them to break free. Maybe they're not active in their journey, so they can't truly break free. So you can blame them, but you can't blame them. Because sometimes things have to be taught to us. We have to, just like this is being introduced to you, maybe this is your first time or your 100th time hearing it. Whether it's an introduction or it's a confirmation, it's still coming to you. What if they never had that? So giving them grace and being like, you know what, they didn't know no better. Forgive them for they not know what they have done. Forgive them. Forgive them. And then you know what else I learned? Sometimes people are so angry with you because they can't deal with your light. And you're wondering why are they treating me this way? Why are they acting this way towards me? Because your light is aggravating their demons. Your light is aggravating and pulling out, because you know relationships are mirrors. So your light is, your generosity and your kindness and your love and your authenticity is pulling out all of their insecurities. And because they don't know how to deal with their stuff, because they never learn. They don't have anybody to tell them. They're looking at it like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do with what she's producing out of me. I don't know what to do with what he's producing out of me. So I get angry out of a lack of knowledge. Out of ignorance, I get angry because that's the first emotion that I can think about, because I don't know what to do with what I'm feeling. I don't know. If you don't get a hold of your emotions, they will run you crazy. They will run your life in the ground. So people who are not set up in that way, and people who don't have the right people around them, the right influences around them, they've been going through life doing it just as they've always been doing it, or just as their father did it, or their mothers did it. Some stuff is generational, y'all. People have to grow into that. They have to grow into their understanding. And some people die never even touching the surface of healing. That is not your problem, that's theirs. But what is your problem is the fact that just because they didn't touch their surface of healing doesn't mean you don't have to. Doesn't mean that you lock your soul because they lock theirs. Y'all ain't twins, okay? Y'all are not twins. You don't lock yourself because they lock themselves. And you're like, what are you talking about, Ayana? They lock themselves out of generational curses or out of lack of knowledge. You're locking yourself out of unforgiveness because you're too busy being mad at them instead of realizing, amen, we're all trying to learn, and maybe they didn't get the opportunity to learn. Maybe they didn't want to learn. That's their business. But I got to free myself up so that I can get everything that God has for me. So, child, that's what I learned. Unforgiveness will leave your soul captive. Forgiveness is the key for you to start your healing. That's how you're going to heal. How else you going to heal if you don't forgive? How can you heal and really mend your heart if you don't let these things go, let these people go, and let go of what happened and just attach yourself to the lesson? Attach yourself to what you learned, not what you lost. So, that's it. I love y'all. Y'all already know, this Ms.Real Spill, and I am out. Bye. If you want a shirt, make sure you drop it in the comments. If you like the shirts, make sure you drop it in the comments. Let me know how you'll put it together, baby. How you'll put this Papa Orange together. Let a sister know. Okay, now I'm gonna go get me some food because your girl is hungry. So, love y'all. Bye.